Hey guys, my name is Ankit Verma and currently I am a graduate student at Columbia University. In this video, I would like to mention about various points which you can use to perform well in almost any interview, be it is a job interview, a scholarship interview, or internship interview, or for any college admission, etc. So it has been always seen that a lot of people perform well in written examinations, but interviews are a major hurdle for them. Some think that they do not have technical knowledge of the domain they are in on the role they are interviewing for. Some think that their vocabulary is not much and cannot speak fluently in the language, or some are just nervous because of the idea of the interviews. So I was also a similar person, but over the past few years, I have appeared in many interviews and fortunately was able to crack most of them. So I have learned a lot from my experiences and I just want to share that with you. This video has been divided into three parts. Firstly, we start with technical interviews and how to deal with them. Secondly, behavioral interviews, and thirdly, because college admissions interviews ask some questions that are only asked in or related to college interviews. So I have given it a separate segment. So let's get started. In technical interviews, most people think that they can be asked anything under the sun, but I don't think that's the case. Actually, you can really have a control on your interview and the direction that it goes. So, in a lot of interviews, what happens that the interviewer asks you, the first question of the interviewer is pretty much very simple and a general question, such as tell me about yourself. The interviewer just wants you to feel comfortable, relaxed, and fade away your nervousness and or anxiousness. So do not just answer that question in any way. Try to use this opportunity to shape your direction of interview. So when a person or an interviewer asks me about tell me about yourself, so I usually include the two internships that I did, and I always say that okay, my second internship was related to something called or something related to making an artificial sun on earth, so basically nuclear fusion. So the interviewer is inherently intrigued about that and wants to know more. So you see, what I'm trying to say here is the every answer that you do is try to include some points which makes the interviewer very curious about and know more about it. And this comes with practice. The interviewer is sitting there to judge your technical abilities. Now he or she can do that in two ways: either asking the pre-set of questions that the interviewer has in their mind, or secondly, you just try to show them based on your past work, give examples, and show them that yes, you have been, working on several complex projects in the past. You have been appreciated for that, and you are giving examples of it. So it will create a picture in the mind of the interviewer that yes, this person is exceptional, or this person has done good stuff in X, Y, and Z company, and he or she was appreciated for it. So he or she must be technical enough, right? So you can do this. The second option is far better than the first one, because in second one you have control over your interview as much as the interviewer himself or herself. Secondly, know about every word that is written in your resume, and knowing about this will help you in two ways. Firstly, if you fail to explain any word or anything that you have mentioned on your resume, or maybe you are caught lying, then it is taken very seriously and it's kind of a game over at that point. Try not to do that. And secondly, if you know what is in your resume, you will definitely know what are the obvious questions that can be asked from that. So let's say in my resume, I mention a project related to using data science to make a strategy or make an application for data driven investments in real estate and identifying arbitrage. Now obvious question is, what is arbitrage? Secondly, how do real estate functions in New York City or usually in America currently? Because if you are trying to build something, right, then obviously you are trying to improve the current scenario or improve the status quo. So try to prepare those obvious questions, and this you can only do if you go thoroughly with your resume. Sometimes what happens is that the interviewer tries to ask you a question on related to a project that he or she might be working on for few last months. They just want to get an idea, if you were in the team, how would you have been like approaching that project or that problem. You're not expected to answer it correctly, but how you can tackle to this situation is that, so if you know about the interviewer beforehand, so maybe through the email invite or the calendar invite that you get, just visit their LinkedIn profile, or if they have their website, then just visit it. Try to see the projects that they have listed or maybe worked on in the past. Prepare few questions related to that which you really find interesting, so that when the person asks you about that question, you are also prepared to counter question the person. Fourthly, try to draw similarities in your work. So let's say you have worked on a project or a job beforehand, then try to tell the interviewer through your answers that yes, you have done a very complex project or a job beforehand, or worked in an internship in which you had a project which was quite complex, or try to tell the interviewer that yes, you have worked on a similar, or maybe worked on something and you have learned skills, and how you can utilize those skills in the job role that you have applied to. It will help the interviewer know that yes, this person understands the differences and similarities of the two roles, and also has transferable skills which he or she can use in this job. Also, try to Google questions, or maybe visit websites like Glassdoor and try to find questions that are being asked recently, because people mention the questions that they were asked during their interview. Try to filter it by the role that you have applied, and prepare those questions. It will give you an edge, because most of the times, or often, what happens is that they repeat one or two questions based on that, because the issue with the companies, or the people that hire, is that they are kind of rigid, and they do like with every interview they don't change their interview process. So most likely it is to be repeated. So if you are prepared, you will have an edge, an advantage. Play the role of the interviewer and interviewee yourself. So try to ask questions based on your resume or the role that you have applied to. Answer yourself, and then re-ask and reassess the answer of your question, or of whatever you reply, or whatever you think of, because this will help you know what kind of questions that the person or the interviewer can ask you, and this will obviously lead you to prepare different questions that you think can be asked or are kind of obvious. If you answer something and there are some things that are very obvious that the person can ask, so be prepared for that. But apart from all this, what happens is that some interviewers come prepared with a mind that they have to ask few questions purely based on the domain, and you cannot control that. So what I would suggest is that before your interview, you also revise the common questions that are asked in your role or in your domain. So be prepared for that as well. So coming to behavioral interviews, I have seen that a lot of people, what they do is that they just Google, top 100 behavioral questions that can be asked, and they start mugging up the answers. But I think it's not a very smart strategy, and obviously you cannot remember answers of those 100 questions exactly, right? So what I do is that I basically shoot for the very basic core 15-20 questions, such as strengths, weaknesses, tell me a time about when you had conflict in your team, tell me a time when you had to meet deadlines, tell me a time when I mean, what kind of role did you play in your team, why do you think the people trust you with that role, etc, etc. But if you prepare these, then you don't have to go and prepare the rest remaining 80, 90, 100 questions, because you can try to find the link between other the different questions based on this 15, 20 questions. So you see, what I'm trying to say here is that remember, have those 50, 20 questions, and when and try to get answers, or try to link the answers of other questions that you see wherever, whether on Glassdoor, on Google, or maybe another person tells you that okay, this is the question that was asked. Just try to relate it with that, because it will not only help you practice, but it will also help you of prepare for some very unpredictable question that can be asked in an interview. So basically try to go back to those 15, 20 questions for most of the behavioral questions that are asked to you, and try to combine the answers of those different questions that you have prepared, and try to answer that. So this will be a very great way of tackling any behavioral interview question. Usually the questions that are asked in behavioral interview are basically for two purposes. Firstly, to check your command over the language, and secondly, do you have that fit or that core values that the company requires. So first thing can be taken care of by regular practice, but for the second thing, what you can do is just visit their website. Maybe like if you are appearing in an interview of a scholarship or an internship or a job, visit their website, go to the about us section, try to find out the core values of the company, that or why do they work on certain things. Basically try to find the various core values of it, and make 3 or 4 points, and prepare the answers to those 15, 20 questions, including those words or phrases or paragraphs, because it will give an idea in the mind of the interviewer that yes, this person is a good fit. And good fit is very, very important, because all the people in your team have to work with you day in and day out. Even if you have a lot of technical knowledge, or let's say a person has a very great amount of technical knowledge but is not a good fit, or his or her thoughts are quite different from the core values of the company, then mm, he or she won't be preferred. The person who is a good fit would be preferred more over him or her. Don't get too technical while answering behavioral questions. This is because the people that take behavioral interviews are usually not that technically expert or technically savvy in the domains that they or the role that you are applying for. So don't use jargons. Try to use very, very basic general English, or whatever the language of your interview is. Also, I have seen that in behavioral interviews, a lot of questions that are asked belong to a certain category, which is known as situation reactions. So they can ask you, tell me about a funny incidents that happened in your previous job or internship or scholarship, etc. Like questions like these. Now these questions require you, or they expect you to give examples. So prepare examples as much as you can in those 15 or 20 questions, because if these type of questions can also be answered from those 15, 20 basic questions. So try to include examples, because you can cater to these situation reactions questions in a much better way if you know examples. In college admission interviews, what they usually ask is that why this university or college, why this program, why do you think you are a good fit for this program, how do you think you can improve the a diversity of the class, and questions like this. Prepare these questions thoroughly, because these are kind of those 15, 20 questions that I mentioned in the behavioral interviews for any college admission scholarship or college admission interviews. Also, usually in college admission interviews, what happens that at the end the interviewer asks you if you have any questions. So do not say that you do not have any question, or do not ask a very general question, right? Go to their websites beforehand, try to find out things that you think that are not well mentioned or mentioned in a proper way, or you find confusing, or you know ask questions about the department, about the university, but try to make those questions specific and not very general. This will show that yes, the person is interested, he or she has done his work beforehand, and is genuinely interested in knowing about few things or few specific areas of the program, and this will help you a lot. And thirdly, talk to your seniors. Try to ask them if they remember the questions, or at least the type of questions that were asked, because not all universities ask similar questions. So if you know what kind of questions or what type of questions to expect for, then you can better prepare for those. I mean, you can like prepare your answers accordingly to the questions. Few general advices would be that always keep smiling throughout the interview. Say no wherever you don't know the answer, and don't waste the time of interviewer and yourself by just circling around on a point that does not matter, or that does not is closely linked with the question that the interviewer has asked you. Try to say no, because if I share my example, I have had a lot of interviews in which I have said no, or I do not know, or I have no idea, I'm sorry, I'm not able to recollect, around 20 to 30% of the questions in each interviews, and still I was fortunate enough to make it through. So they are not expecting or sitting there to judge that, okay, if this person answers one question incorrect or says do not know, we will reject the person. It's not the case. Just try to ask the interviewer the answers of the questions that you were not able to give during the interview. The interviewer can say two things: firstly, that okay, let's discuss, and secondly, it would be like, try to find the answer yourself and get back to me. So what you can do is that, don't leave it there. When you go outside, try to find the answer, try to find the person that interviewed you, and you will come to know, because you can the person will give their introduction, or you can generally know that, okay, and or maybe from the email invite or the calendar invite that you received the interview. So try to find their LinkedIn profile or maybe their emails. Try to send that email saying that, okay, this is the answer that I think, do you think, is it correct, or would you like to add something to it? So this will help you create that great impression in the mind of the interviewer, or sometimes maybe even can help you change the mind of that interviewer. If the interviewer is skeptical whether you did well or not, and is yet to make a decision, or maybe even if the person has made a decision, he or she can change it, because they will see that this person is genuinely interested, this person went or took a step more, try to find the answer even when no one was looking. So that matters a lot, that says a lot about you and your character, right? I hope that you guys found this helpful and you have a better idea of how to tackle interviews. And yeah, if you guys like this video, you can share, subscribe, like, because I'm planning to coming out with more similar videos that can help you on different topics. And yeah, if you guys have any particular requests, do let me know in the comment section. Take care guys, all the best.